What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Look, sometimes in life, it's not about who pulled the trigger. It's about who walked away when the smoke cleared. And right now, I'm gonna talk about that smoke. We're gonna talk about BMF, Young Jeezy, and why that connection still makes people nervous when it's mentioned. Because when you talk about BMF, you're talking about power. But when you talk about Jeezy, you're talking about the voice of that power, the face of that movement. Atlanta in the early 2000s was a different world. Everybody was chasing something. Money, status, freedom. The city was buzzing. Clubs popping, labels signing dudes, and feds watching. And right in the middle of it all stood Demetrius, Big Meech Flannery, and BMF, Black Mafia family. They were the new definition of street empire. Lambos, billboards, private jets, and they wasn't hiding the hustle. They were celebrating it. And who was right there next to him? Young Jeezy, the voice that made their movement immortal. When he said BMF, we moving like the mob, that wasn't just a lyric, that was a lifestyle. But then the raid happened. The lights flashed, the cameras rolled, and the streets got quiet. See, the feds had been watching BMF for years. Tapping phones, following calls, watching every move. And when they finally struck, they took down dozens. Kingpins, runners, soldiers. Anybody tied to the name BMF was caught in the net. Everybody except one man, the face of the soundtrack. The man everybody knew was close, Young Jeezy. Now listen, he was never charged, never convicted, never even named as a suspect in the RICO. But people talk. And people been talking for years. See, in one of them courtrooms, a witness named Ralphie Sims, stood up and said Jeezy received multiple kilos from BMF. That's sworn testimony, under oath, and still, no case. That's what made the streets start whispering. That's what made everybody say something ain't right. And that's where this new FBI agent story comes in. Because if this agent is telling the truth, then this whole story got layers we never even thought about.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the guy's name because he's pretty famous, and to be fair, he was never charged with a crime. But we had these two rappers in Atlanta in the early 2000s, and they were beefing with each other, trading diss tracks, the whole thing. Then rapper number one, the famous one, orders his goons to go beat up rapper number two and steal this gaudy gold and diamond necklace he wore in all of his videos, and that's where it got interesting. The goon squad shows up at rapper number two's place. He pulls a gun and starts shooting. One of the attackers gets hit, makes it about 200 yards away from the house before he drops dead. Rapper number two is arrested for murder, but is dismissed as self-defense. And the real criminal here is rapper number one, who ordered the violent act that got his man killed. I had the phone records and two witnesses prepared to testify for what would have been a rock-solid RICO murder case. But for reasons that were never explained to me, the U.S. Attorney's Office declined prosecution, and rapper number one went on to have a phenomenally successful career. Oh well, win some, lose some.
All right. He said there was a shooting. Two rappers. One ordered a hit, the other one fired back. Someone died, and when it was all over, the bigger name artist walked away clean. That's when the internet started asking, is this connected to the Jeezy BMF era? Is this the piece that explains why he cut ties so fast? See, if you was in Atlanta, you remember how strong that connection was. The videos, the chains, the cars. Trap or Die wasn't just a mixtape. It was a mission statement. Every hood felt empowered by Jeezy's music. Every man with a dream saw himself in that brand. But when them indictments came down, Jeezy disappeared from the movement like he was never part of it. One day it was Free Meech. The next day it was silence. No shout outs, no pictures, no loyalty posts. The man who helped bring BMF to the world suddenly was acting like it never existed. And maybe that was the plan. Because when you look at how this industry operates, the line between loyalty and betrayal is real thin. If you cooperate, you walk free. If you stay silent, you sit down. And too many people done learned that lesson the hard way. Now, do I think Jeezy testified against Big Meech? I don't think so. There's no paperwork, no audio, no recordings, but there's energy, there's timing. And in the streets, that's enough to keep your name in people's mouths forever. See, this ain't about calling Jeezy a snitch. This is about recognizing how quickly street honor gets rewritten when the feds step in. Because the government been studying us for decades. They know how to turn a kingpin into a cooperant and a legend into a suspect. And Jeezy, he survived the fire, but at what cost? Let's talk about the music. After the BMF era ended, Jeezy switched up his music from trap star to motivational hustler, and people ate it up. He became corporate, clean, polished. The streets that once praised him now felt distant. Some said he went Hollywood, some said he grew up. Either way, the connection to the movement that made him is gone. And you know what's funny? The more he distanced himself, the bigger his career got. Awards, partnerships, books, interviews. While Big Meech sat in the cell, Jeezy sat in the boardroom. And sometimes that's just how the game goes. But that don't mean people gonna stop asking questions. Because the truth is, BMF is not just a story about crime. It's a story about loyalty. And when you build your name on the back of a street movement, you owe that movement honesty. Even if you ain't do nothing wrong, You gotta stand on what you built. And that's where the people felt betrayed. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Big Meech still speaks highly of Jeezy in interviews. Others say he felt left behind. But that's the thing about legends. Everybody got their own version of the truth. And in a city like Atlanta, truth and rumor live next door to each other. So when an FBI agent speaks on a case that sounds familiar, everybody's ears perk up. Because maybe that could be the piece we've been missing all these years. I'm not here to condemn, I'm here to reflect. I'm here to say that we as a culture have to stop glorifying half stories. Because whatever happened behind closed doors, one thing is clear. Jeezy walked away free. So maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day we'll know why the snowman never melted in the heat. Like, comment, subscribe, Establish Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.